Hello guys and welcome to the Neon Reaper channel, and we're here with a quick news update on all things PlayStation at the minute. Now, there has been some interesting things going around the net on the subject of the PS5, and I've had a look at different articles and stuff like that, but I've picked out the Games Radar article because they've rounded up pretty much every article and put it into one. So I'll leave the link in the description down below if this is something you want to check out. But most of all, we've got some important details about the PS5, when it's launching, some details of what it has, what it's packing, and just a few little bit more tidbits of information if you don't already know. So we're about to go through with it. If you like this video as well, guys, then please don't forget to smash me a like, hit that subscribe button if you want. We'll be doing lots of other news updates and, build up to when the PS5 and the Xbox Scarlet releases. So here are 10 things we know now, new details in the last 24 hours about the PS5. Now, the PS5 Holiday 2020 release window has been confirmed by Sony today, and while that's big news to come from Sony Interactive Entertainment President and CEO Jim Ryan via a statement on the PlayStation blog, there's also plenty more information to be found by an accompanying hands-on report from Wired. We've pulled up the biggest exciting details. Thank you, Games Radar. From the PS5 exclusive games to confirmation of rumored dev kit. I presented it here without any of the hard-to-parse technology jargon. Here are the 10 biggest things, release date aside, that we've learned about the PS5. So, well, the first thing, which I'm personally glad for, is it's actually going to be called the PS5. None of this Xbox, whatever, 180 or whatever the next one's going to be called. So 720 or something, I don't know. But we have long speculated that Sony's next gen console would follow the familiar brand rules of the company has utilised since 1994. And we now have the PS5 confirmed by its formal title. That's right, the new system will officially be called the PS5. I don't really think this comes as a massive surprise to anybody, to be honest. I mean, everybody's been calling it PS5 now for about coming on 2 years anyway. It seems the logical thing just to keep it as the PS5. Now, one of the most exciting things is Bluepoint Games is making a PS5 exclusive. If you don't know who Bluepoint are, they are the company that did the remaster for Shadow of the Colossus, which was highly acclaimed. The first officially confirmed PS5 exclusive for the next gen console. Ryan reiterated that Ghosts of Tsushima would be releasing on PS4. I still think that's going to be a cross-play title. I think there's going to be lots of cross-play titles. I think titles such as Cyberpunk 2077, FIFA, Ghost of Tsushima, Last of Us 2. I think all these are going to launch on the PS4, but I reckon day one for PS5 there's going to be upgrades for these games. How they'll go about that, I don't know. Hopefully it'll just be similar to the way that it happened last gen, where if you got the game on disc, you just go to the shop, you pay an extra tenner, and you get an update, the upgraded PS5 version of it. Or if you buy the game digitally, that when the PS5 drops, you just get a free upgrade of that game for PS5. That would be, I hope they stick to that, because I think that model worked really, really well, and it helps helps them sell units. Helps them get the PS5 out there, because then people have access to games. It doesn't cost a bomb on top of the console to get upgraded games that you might like from the previous gen. So where were we? Yeah. Bluepoint Games, the studio behind the recent Shadow of the Colossus remake. Marco Frush, president of Bluepoint, told Wired that the team is working on a big remake right now, but refused to describe anything more than teasing that he'll let us figure out the rest. The GameSpot say that recent rumours of Demon's Souls remake has been doing the rounds over the last few weeks, so perhaps that's what it could be. Maybe not. I would not be surprised with leading up to that maybe we might get another Last of Us remake, possibly with the new engine and gameplay features that maybe the Last of Us 2 have got. Maybe that's stretching it a bit too far, but that's something I'd personally like. The PS5 dev kit is almost certainly real. There's a sketch here of this V funky looking thing. Over the last few months, the images and sketches of a funky-looking PS5 dev kit have been circulating online, showing a V-shaped console which looks to feature an advanced cooling system that hopefully will avoid the PS4's noisy fan problem. Yes. Now, this is a big must for me. I don't care what the console looks like. It could be shaped like the most ugliest console ever, but as long as it does its job, which is play PS5 games, 4K ray tracing, and it's quiet, then I don't care. As long as it's happened. Because there's been so many times, especially with me when I stream through via YouTube or via Twitch, where you can get into a bit of an intensive part of the game, because I've got a Pro at the minute, and if it sounds like, it's a jet taking off from Heathrow Airport. It's just, it just goes, and then it's like explosions start happening, and the PS4 just goes. It's mad. It's mad how loud it gets, which is a massive problem, I think, for everybody who owns a Pro. It gets stupidly loud. Wired has now stated that the dev kit shown during its exclusive hands-on session looks incredibly similar to the one seen in these images, suggesting the leak is indeed valid. However, Sony has refused to confirm whether or not the model bears any influence or similarity with the final product that will ship to consumers next year. The final version will look like that Guardian behemoth. Only time will tell. I honestly don't think the final product will look like this, to be honest. They'll design it to make it look a little bit sleeker, but personally, I prefer practical use over the way that the console looks. The PS5 user interface is about putting games first. This kind of comes as no surprise. Every generation comes with a new interface, new overlay, and it's basically just saying that it's getting completely revamped for the PS5. Even though it will be fairly fast to boot up games, we don't want the player to have to boot up the game, see what's up, boot up the game, see what's up. Multiplayer game servers will provide the console with a set of joinable activities in real time. Single player games will provide information like what missions you could do and what rewards you might receive for completing them. All these choices will be visible in your UI. So I hope there's not going to be too much on there. I'd love to see how this is designed. I quite like the PS4 one now, just because for how simple it is and how smart it looks. Personally, I don't want a load up screen with like 50 billion things of information on it and it just looks messy. I'd like to keep it clean and smart, so I hope that's something they do. Japan Studios and Polyphony Digital are making demos. Again, this is no surprise, guys. Like these two studios do demos for like I said, they did demos for PS4 when it first released. They'll do it again. If you like those two studios, then you can almost certainly expect that there's demos or just showing what the console's capable of for that. The PS5 will feature an overhauled DualShock controller. So now Sony has confirmed that it's making significant changes to the next generation controller. It isn't officially called the DualShock yet, but it most probably will be. While the design will be similar to the design of the PS4 controller, it will have some new tech under the hood. Namely, it will be an improved integrated speaker and an emphasis on improving the user experience through haptic rumble. I hope I'm saying that right. It replaces the traditional vibration rumble, giving developers the chance to better relay in-game action straight to your fingertips, literally to your fingertips. The L2 and R2 buttons are being replaced with adaptive triggers that can offer varying levels of resistance. That's something I quite like, especially when it comes to shooting games. If you're gonna just slightly squeeze it and pop off, a tiny shot instead of having to press the whole controller down to fire around, that would be a good change. I'm not too sure about the integrated speaker and stuff like that. I can't think of many games where the speaker was really used. And as a streamer, where I use my headset most of the time, and even privately, I use my headset just so I don't have to hear the kids or the traffic or anything like that. I never really used it. Let me know in the comments. Did you ever know a good game that integrated the speaker, or do you use it a lot for any of your games? Let me know in the comments, guys. Also, it's going to be complete with a USB-C charging support. Thank God for that. When it comes to the controller, however, the new rumble isn't the most significant news. The PS5's product manager Toshi Aoki Okay, I'm terrible with names. Also confirmed the next gen controller will use a USB Type-C connector for charging. This is huge news, especially for those that are sick of having to a mess of cables scattered on the floor in front of your TV. Yes, indeed. So that will be good. It's also been noted that the new controller will be heavier than the DualShock 4, but it will be lighter than the Xbox One X controller with batteries in it. So that's good. You could almost say that the PS4 controller is a little bit too light. There's been so many times where I've just slightly nudged it off a table, and it goes bloody flying onto the floor, man. The amount of times I knock it over, it's just so easy to nudge. So this is one of the parts that I'm most looking forward to, which is you'll be able to download and install parts of games separately, which I think is absolutely amazing news. Intriguingly, Sony have confirmed that you'll be able to install specific parts of games rather than just everything in one big chunk, which would help keeping the SSD drive space free. Players would have the choice of installing the single player or the multiplayer portions of the game, or both, to increase the speed it takes to get into the part of the game you actually want to play. Rather than treating games as one big block of data, we're allowing to fine-grained access to the data. So I really like the sound of this. There's kind of like a feature like that already, where you can download the single player or you can download the multiplayer part of PS4. So I wouldn't say it's anything particularly new, but it would be pretty cool that if you go into a multiplayer, if you're going for a single player game that has a multiplayer aspect, and if the game's single player is 30 gigabytes, but added on with the multiplayer, it brings it up to 45. But then you're not interested in the multiplayer, you can just refuse to download that and have 30 gig on your hard drive, saving yourself 15 gig. And if you can do that with multiple games, then you could save yourself over 100 gig just on little pieces of games that you're never going to play. So I like the sound of that, and I think that it has a very, very good practical use. This is probably the world's most, obvious secret. I don't think there was any doubt on this. So the PS5 will have ray tracing hardware. We have heard news and information about this in the past. The good news for hardware fans is Mark Cerny has laid your fears to rest and confirmed that there is ray tracing acceleration in the GPU software. We all expected this anyway. I mean, this is why they're pushing out the next generation, because the technology's there now for ray tracing, which is the next big graphical leap. So this is why a next generation console is needed, as well as knowing that the fact that the PS4 is coming on to 7 years old by this point. So this generation felt like it's gone so fast. So. But the real takeaway is we can expect more realistic lighting and sound from our games for the PS5. I know that there's another leak that Sony's been working on like a 360 sound as well. Not only are they improving the graphics of the games, but they're putting more emphasis this year than they ever done in the last 2 generations on sound. Sound bouncing off walls, like being different, far away, above, elevated. They're really, really trying their best. Like if somebody's walking on the floor above you, you can hear it, whilst there's gunfire going down the street. So you'd have that contrast. Like you'll just to be able to tell whether or not that enemy's walking further away, or what the gunshot's going on. So I like the fact. I don't think it's the most important aspect, obviously, playing games at the minute. I have no problem with the sound, but it's something that if it could be improved on. I think it's about time that people did put more effort into it. And number 10 is that it will have 4K Blu-ray support. So for people that love their Blu-ray discs still, this article confirms that the console will play 100 gigabyte optical discs, as well as 4K Blu-rays. If you're still buying 4K films. So this just means, obviously, 100 gigabyte optical discs just means that the developers are making new games are going to be able to stick so much on a disc. And it makes me wonder how big games are going to be next generation. It's just my major takeaway from that. You look at games now, and we started off this generation with 30 gigabyte games, and then it started going to 40, and then we got 50, and then you're looking at games like Red Dead 2, which is 80 gig. I mean, COD now, Call of Duty, their games come to about 100 gigabytes. Battlefield comes to about 100 gigabytes. There's a lot of games now pushing over 100 gigabytes already, with all their downloadable content and stuff like that. So it'll be interesting to see how big the base games will come with the generation leap, and obviously developers being able to do more, make more games better detailed. Obviously requires more gigabyte space. It'll be interesting to see what the confirmed SSD drive will be for a PS5, because I do think that the 500 gigabytes of hardware space is going to be too low, especially for the next generation. I think it's going to be so low for what they can do. So I think we're looking at least a tera minimum. I think for the next generation, at least a tera minimum for what we need to do there. So yeah, so that's like a little bit more information on the PS5. Let me know, guys, in the comments if you are interested in the PS5 or the new Xbox. Which one would you prefer? Which one kind of grabbed your interest? We know that Xbox have a press conference due out in London in November. I can't remember the exact date, but I know it's November drop. So Sony have been taking this different approach where they're just dropping tad bits of information little by little. But we've now got confirmation that both consoles will be dropping next year, I think. So the holiday 2020, they're going to be competing against each other. Let me know, guys, in the comments which console you'll be picking up, or which one grabs your interest as of right now. And yeah, so let me know if you're looking forward to the next generation as well. With that being said, guys, this is a Neon Reaper news update. I really appreciate you guys hanging out with me, and I hope that you'll stick around the channel for more news updates like this, especially leading up to next generation, because I am going to be excited and I'm going to be covering this an awful lot. So I hope you guys hit that subscribe button, stick around, and I will see you guys next time. Bye, guys.